Hey guys, it's Lisa. Welcome back to the book club. Today is exciting. I have a book haul. I don't know if I've done a book haul yet on the channel. I've talked about lots of books on my shelf or things that I want to get to that I've owned for some time, but I don't think I've done a book haul. So I've been feeling like I'm really getting back into the book reading era. So I've acquired a few new books. A couple of these I'm going to show you. I've had on my shelf. I think only two of them actually, but the rest are all fairly new. And I haven't talked about them elsewhere on my channel. So I thought I'd share with you what I've been up to. And here they are. Okay, to kick things off, we are going to talk about a memoir. It's called Ladyparts by Deborah Copaken. Now, I am about a third of the way through this. It's so good. It's so good. I like a really good memoir about witty, strong women that are relatable and just going through the stuff. And boy, does Deborah have a story to say. So Deborah is an amazing journalist, and she has this memoir out called Ladyparts, and it's called Ladyparts because she's talking about problems she's been going through over the years with various parts of her body and the impact that has on, you know, body autonomy as a woman in the United States. She's an American, and just her struggles around that. She's, you know, freshly divorced. She's got these health problems that keep coming up. She doesn't have proper health care coverage, which is a problem. She, you know, she's just trying to make ends meet. She's trying to make ends meet, and it's at the back here it says it's side-spittingly funny 1 minute and a freak horror show the next. I'm really enjoying this. And another thing I'm really enjoying doing is I'm reading this physical copy, but I'm also listening to the audiobook, and she narrates the audiobook. And so it's a really nice experience to hear the author in her own voice read her memoir. It's really good. If you like memoirs, if you're looking for something that's witty, like I said, interesting, and also heartbreaking at times, this is really good. I'm really enjoying this. Okay, the next book I've got is called How to Live Well Despite Capitalist Patriarchy by Trista Hendren. Okay, first of all, let's look and appreciate this gorgeous, gorgeous cover. I just absolutely love it. This is not a big book. I'm about a quarter of the way through it. I should just sit down and finish reading it. It's kind of like a how-to self-care guide to, you know, just take care of yourself in trying times. So, you know, limit time on social media, stop going to church if it's not working for you, support other women, put yourself first, like have the audacity to put yourself first, stuff like that. So it's a nice little book. I'm really enjoying it, and it's just something to read when the news is coming at us like we're drinking from a fire hose, and it can be a bit overwhelming. So I really appreciate this, and I really like her and this book, and I'm enjoying it. All right, the next book is kind of the complete opposite, and I'll tell you why I bought this. And so this is called The End of Woman: How Smashing the Patriarchy Has Destroyed Us by Carrie Gress. So I bought this book because I think it's also important to get out of your own bubble about what you read every once in a while, because I can easily read books by all the feminists and all the strong women and and men equally, and I have a very liberal mindset. But I think it's also important to also read about other perspectives. So, and I also think this is going to make me absolutely rage. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm going to throw this book across the room more than once when I start reading it. Nothing against Carrie, Gress, the author. She is a scholar at a Catholic university. She lives in the southern United States. Virginia, is that considered in the South? And she's the author of Theology at Home. She kind of is making the argument against feminism and why we should be embracing the patriarchy. Hence why I think I'm going to rage. So I haven't read this yet. But when I started flipping through this book, she really leans hard into Mary Shelley and Frankenstein, and I think she's going to talk about other authors as well. But every time I flipped through it, and it even mentions it on the back, she kept talking about Mary Shelley and her work, and so I'm like, well, obviously the next step is this. I read Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Okay, so this is one of the books that was on my shelf, but I hadn't read it in a long time. I hadn't read it. I've never read it, but it had been on my shelf for a long time. So I have the Penguins Classic Edition, so it has really nice, it has an introduction. It's got some really good notes in the back, and I love this. I love this. This is a 5-star book. I can't believe I had never read this. So what helped me with this, because this book is over 200 years old, so it's, you know, it is a challenge to read, I found. So because of the language is just older, and it's 230 pages of it, mostly internal monologue. So to get through that, what I did is I actually found a free copy of the book on Audible. Like, if you have like audiobook subscriptions or iTunes or iBook or whatever, you could probably, because it's so old, it's a classic, you could probably find a free version of an audiobook, or a something very inexpensive, like a few bucks, or you could probably even get it from your library, borrow it from your library. So I can't remember the name of I'll put it on the screen here, of the person, the man that read, the narrator that read the audiobook, because he was so good. He had a very pleasant British accent, and he kind of voiced the different characters in the book when he read. So the monster had a different slightly different, the way he read the words. It was so good. I really enjoyed this. Like, I read this in a couple of days. Like, it took me no time at all. And I really enjoyed the reading along with the audiobook. So, Mary Shelley, famous for her work. She wrote this when she was just a teenager. Her mother was Mary Wollstonecraft, was one of the early romantics and huge feminist, and so is Mary Shelley. So sorry if you can hear my dryer in the background. This is real life. I've got to get my laundry done. So anyway, so I read Mary Shelley. I was really happy about it, so I just thought I'd share it with you. Okay, the next book I have, I picked this up on the recommendation of another booktuber. I do watch Haley Pham. You should check out her channel. She's great. Her videos are wonderful. She's fun to watch. She's very popular. I am twice her age, so I don't read a lot of the same things that she reviews. She reads a lot of like romantasy and a lot of romance, and I don't, but occasionally she does read more literary fiction or contemporary fiction. So she was talking about this and how this was one of her favorite books she read last year. So I was instantly intrigued, and it's called The Ministry of Time by Kaliane Bradley. And it's it's got fantasy elements. So it's set in a near future, and it's about a government that is figured out time travel. And I think this woman, it's about a story about a woman who works for the government. I may be wrong, but and she is paired up with a man from like the mid 1800s, and it's a story about her relationship and how she interacts with him. And I imagine it could be part love story, I'm not quite sure, and the challenges around that, but she raved on and on and on about it in several videos, so I was like so intrigued. And I mean, the cover is just stunning. I love all the colors and everything, so I picked this up and I'm looking forward to getting into it. Okay, this next book, I feel like I'm a little bit late to the party at this one, for this one. It's Beach Read by Emily Henry. So I think this was quite a popular book a couple or more than a few years ago. Emily Henry writes, I'd say, contemporary romance. It wasn't in the romance section in my bookstore. It's in the contemporary kind of fiction area. And anyway, if you haven't heard of Emily Henry, and she's new to me too. I do have one of her other books. I think I have, I can't remember which one I have. I don't think it's Book Lovers. It's the one with the pink cover. But, so this sounds very cute. So this is about two writers, and I'm not sure how they meet. I don't know if they're on a holiday or whatnot. And she writes, like, you know, happy ending romance, and he writes like the great American novels and kills off all his characters and makes you cry. And I think they're suffering from some writing block while they're on vacation, and they strike up a conversation somehow, and I think they end up switching work with each other to try to help each other out. And there's probably a subplot or a main plot of romance, I'm not quite sure, but I've heard so much about this book, and I know it's quite popular and a favorite of many people on BookTube, so I thought I would give it a go and try. And like I said, I don't read or cover much romance books on my channel, but you know, why not? I might actually like it, and I probably will, so we'll get into it and see how it goes. Okay, this next book, you guys, I was so happy when I saw this. I was so excited when I saw this, and I snatched it up instantly. It's called Witchcraft for Wayward Girls by Grady Hendrix. I love Grady Hendrix. I love Grady Hendrix. So this book is often found in the horror section, but and I guess it is horror. I read his other book. I'll put a picture of it here. The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. I loved that book. Pardon me, I love that book so much. It was set in the 90s, and it was about these moms that had this book club, and a vampire joins them, and they got to take him out. And it's like, there are some scary scenes even for a book. I was like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? And I was thrilled when I saw this come out. Witchcraft for Wayward Girls. So this is set in the 1970s, I think 1970, and it's about a home where pregnant teenage girls go when you're sent away, if you are an unwed mother, to have your babies in shame. And there's witchcraft involved. There's a Ouija board. That's all I needed to know. I hope it's got strong female characters. I hope it's about body autonomy. I hope it's about sexual identity. I just hope it's all those things, and I bet it's going to be terrifying in places and absolutely non-stop. I mean, that's my expectation. You know, page turning fun from Grady Hendrix, because I really do enjoy his work. So I was absolutely thrilled when I saw this in my bookshop, and I was like, oh my god, there's a Grady Hendrix novel out, and it's big. It's much bigger than some of the other ones, so I'm really looking forward to getting into this. I'm looking forward so much to getting into this. All right, so keeping with the theme, I had bought this one, and I've been eyeing this one up for a little while. It's called Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. So this is a closed room whodunit mystery, meaning like it's a small space, everybody's confined, and there's a body. So it's one of these people in the room is a murderer and it's a whodunit to the last page. So it just sounds fun, and I love stories like that. I haven't read a lot of Agatha Christie. My camera battery died and I shut off my dryer. It was squeaking too much. I felt like I was yelling over it. Sorry about that, guys. So I was saying I haven't read that much Agatha Christie, but it definitely has those vibes. So I've been eyeing this one up for a little while, and I thought, you know what, just get it. And I love the cover. I love like that says a novel and the drop of blood on the cover, and then all the different things like the axe and the noose and everything. It's so great. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. So just a good old-fashioned mystery. So I'm hoping it's really good. Okay, this next book is totally out of my wheelhouse. I bought The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. So here we go. Like I said, I don't read a lot of romance, but once in a while, I've read one other book. I have read one other book of theirs. I had to look it up on the inside of the jacket with, other works by the author, and it was called A Holidays. So it was kind of a Christmas themed love story. And I think I read that in like one day, and I really enjoyed it. I read it probably 5 or 6 years ago, and I still remember it and think about those characters. So obviously I really enjoyed it. Christina Lauren, if you're not familiar with this author, it's actually two friends, Christina Hobbs and Lauren Billings. So, and they write romance stories and novels together, and they're incredibly popular. They have a huge backlist. I think this is a fairly recent, I don't know if this is the most recent one they've put out. This one came out May 2024, so it's been out for almost a year. I don't know how often they publish, but there's quite a backlist of stories. So if you enjoy their books, or you would probably like them, then there's lots of their stuff to read. So this one is, I couldn't decide. I was looking at Love and Other Words by them, but I decided to go for this one because the blurb says, "Is the secret to a happy marriage starting with the divorce?" So what it sounds like is two people kind of marry for just kind of transactional purposes, for like good housing or cheap housing or something while they're in college together. And I'm not quite sure why they need to be married to do that. But then they divorce and they go on with their lives. And then it turns out a few years later, like the girl, or the woman, she's struggling to, it sounds like living the starving artist life. And her ex-husband is from a very well-to-do family, and he has this massive inheritance coming his way, but he cannot access it. And there's a clause in the agreement that says he cannot access his inheritance until he's been happily married for 5 years. So I'm not quite sure what that means. I read a lot of legal agreements from my work, so I don't know how that would actually work, but I'm trying to set that aside and just enjoy the story, Lisa. I'm sure it'll be really fun. And it sounds maybe like an enemies to lovers trope. I don't know. Like I said, I'm new to the romance genre, and I've got this in Beach Read, which I think has subplots of romance. I don't know if that's like the main theme of that book or not, but definitely Christina Lauren, this was in the romance section. So anyway, it sounds fun, and look at this cover. It's stunning. I love the big pink flowers and the tropical vibes. I think it just looks good, and it sounds fun. So I'm looking forward to this. I'll let you know how I like it. All right, a couple more, and then I've got one on my backlist. Actually, I've got two more here, and they're both new as part of the book haul, and then I was just gonna show you what my current read is, because I haven't put out a video in a couple of weeks. So I picked this one up. It's called One Big Happy Family, Except They're Not, by Jamie Day. So this is I'd say thriller. So it sounds like there is a family motel in this beach town, I think. And it's willed to these 3 sisters, and they go to this motel to figure out what they're going to do with it. And there's a chambermaid that lives and works and kind of takes care of the place, and I think she's not sure how she's going to fit in. Are they going to fire her, close the hotel? Like, she's skimming off the guests, and apparently she's hiding somebody in one of the rooms that isn't supposed to be there. So it sounds like thrills, twists, turns, classic thriller kind of tropes and vibes. I don't know. I haven't read a lot of thrillers. I think I used to read them quite a bit, and I think I kind of got a little burnt out on them, but I'm looking for, I would like to get back into reading them because I really do enjoy them. And I just kind of picked this up on a whim because I loved the cover and it sounded a little bit different. I haven't heard or seen many people talking about this, so I just thought I'd go for it and I'll see what it's like. Okay, my last book here from the book haul, and then I'll tell you what I'm reading right now. This was a total impulse buy. And I bought it because I loved the cover. I'm just being honest. So this is called The Life Cycle of the Common Octopus by Emma Knight. And she's a Canadian author, which thrilled me to learn that as well. So I'm not even quite sure. I literally picked this up from the till, and as I was waiting in line, I was flipping through it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna get it. And if I don't like it, I'll take it back. But I mean, first of all, I'm absolutely in love with this cover. It sounds like a book with themes of love story and a mystery. So I think our main character is a Canadian girl, and she goes to Great Britain for university, and she has family mysteries, particularly about her father that she's trying to solve. And she meets up with one of her friends, her father's friends, and while she's in Great Britain, and she's kind of welcomed into their family, and they're all very charming, but they're not answering any of her questions. And I don't know what the mystery is she's trying to solve at this point. And then there's a second plot line with another woman who is in the area for her own purposes, and I'm not quite sure how their worlds are going to intertwine throughout the story of the book, but it's about female friendship, discovering your sexual identity, or awakening, I guess, and I think it's just a story about women trying to find their way in the world and trying to figure out where they come from. So we'll see. I'm always up to support a Canadian author, and I mean, this is like, I mean, I just love it. I think it's just beautiful looking. So we'll see how I get on with it. All right. And my last book is what I'm currently reading. I'm about, I'd say, a quarter of the way through it. It's nearly a 400-page book, and I'm on page 100, and it's The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, this has been out for some time. I think this came out in 2017. It was very popular on BookTube a number of years ago, and everybody was going on and on and on about it. I picked it up, and it's been sitting on my bookcase for a long time. And I finally just decided, after I read Frankenstein, I had like a book hangover from Frankenstein because I love Frankenstein so much, for a couple of days. And I was just like, what do I read next? What do I read next? What could possibly live up to that? But I wanted to go in a totally different direction. And so I thought, you know what? I've had this on my bookshelf for a long time. I'm gonna just read it. And I am enjoying it so much. So if you don't know about this book, it is about an aging Hollywood starlet. She's like 79 or 80 years old. And I would imagine when the author was thinking about who she was thinking of when she wrote the character of Evelyn Hugo, she was probably, like, I would have been thinking Marilyn Monroe, Elizabeth Taylor, you know, that kind of, like, the most popular woman on the planet in Hollywood back in the 50s and 60s. And so the novel is about that type of a woman. And So she's ready to like spill the beans on her life. Like she was a very private person, and she had this image of a very glamorous and glossy lifestyle, right? But this book, in the blurb on the front, says a spellbinding novel about love, glamour, and the price of fame. So this book is about what's behind all that, like the true cost of what she, you know, quote unquote, paid for her life of glamour and gloss, and all the husbands and various things. And I have heard, and I hope this isn't a spoiler, that there is a bit of a queer subplot to this, which I'm looking forward to getting into. If that's true or not, I'll let you know. But so far we're just kind of meeting the husbands and all the things that went along with all of that in this character's life. I'm tearing through this. I'm probably I would like to finish this book this weekend. Look, it didn't take me very long to get through the first quarter, so I'm hoping to like finish this off today or tomorrow, and then pick one of my new books to continue on with and keep going. So those are all the books I have. I'm really excited. I think I have a really great spread of like a little bit of nonfiction and things like that, and then I've got some romance, and I've got mystery, and I have a thriller, and I've got some contemporary fiction. So I think I have got a great range of books in this book haul, and I hope you enjoyed seeing them. If you've heard of any of these books, if you've read them and thought they were great or not, let me know, and I'll leave you there. So I hope you're having a really great afternoon, evening, or morning, wherever you may be, and I will see you in the next video. All right? Okay, bye, bye, bye.